Hiya folks, Sandro here with more cartoon news and shenanigans. And if you would like more cartoon news and shenanigans, please subscribe to my channel today. In fact, do it right now so you don't forget about it. And I just wanted to thank the YouTube algorithm. No, all of you guys who have been watching and subscribing. So one of my videos actually went viral. This is pretty crazy. You can actually see right here. My video that released, where is that bad boy? Right there. Yeah, this video that came out yesterday, 1,450. You can see, here's how much views I usually get, right? You can see there like 30s, 40s, maybe a couple hundred if I'm lucky. Couple hundred there, you know, and most of them are just like, you know, double digits. 100, you know, a couple hundred. You have to get lucky sometimes, you know. And anyway, so this video right here completely blows it out of the water. And funny enough, it's exactly what we're talking about today. I'm actually doing a review of the Animaniacs reboot. I'm going to go through every single episode and all the segments. I'm going to give you my thoughts, and we're going to go through the whole thing. This is a very long video. I will tell you guys there's going to be spoilers. There's all spoilers for all episodes. So I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to give you guys an ultimate review of like what I think in the end. And I'll give you a spoiler right now. It's not on the higher end. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so it's not on the higher end, so you could probably make a guesstimate on what my review ranking is going to be. But yeah, so actually today's video was pretty good too. 44 views. It's more than I usually, you know. But anyway, yeah, that viral video really boosted me up. And you can see there, I went up subscribers, I went up watch time hours. It's been crazy. I love it. I love just waking up in the morning and just, you know, you look at this and it's pretty crazy. So anyways, let's jump into the review. So I pulled up, I went to the Animaniacs wiki, and we are gonna see here that these are the episodes. So there's 13. Is there 13? Yeah, 13. 13 episodes. And each episode is 3-minute segments, and I think they're like 20. All the episodes are like 23 or 24 minutes long, so they're like 8-minute. There's 3 segments, and then they usually break them up into like a couple minutes each. So usually they're around 8 minutes long. Yeah. So oh, and then the last segment is always shorter because then they have to make room for the credits, right? And also there's the minute-long opening. So the last instead of 8 minutes each, it's like one of them's 8 minutes, one of them's 8 minutes, and then the last one is like 5 or 6 minutes or something like that. So that's that. So let's jump in here. Oh my god. So I got a bottle of water because I know I'm going to be talking for a long time. This is probably going to be a half-hour long video. Again, spoiler warning. Let's jump right in. So episode 1. Episode 1 is about the Animaniacs sort of like coming back. They've been, you know, they come back into the reboot. They've been sleeping. You know, they've been sleeping for a long time, or not sleep. They've been out of the loop for the whole time. They sing a song about coming back into the fold. You know, and they they are sellouts. You can actually see this logo, this picture. I don't know if we can make that bigger, but you see how it spells out Hulu in money and gold. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yeah. So they know they're sellouts. Like they're making fun of a lot of other shows like DuckTales and a whole bunch of others for being reboots when they themselves are reboots that a reboot that just cashed in on the money, and they're really letting us know here. They're really letting us know. So yeah, they cashed out. So that's what the first one's all about. I thought it was a pretty great way to get them to come back into the fold. Now, as for the theme song, I think that's important to talk about. I actually prefer the older theme song as opposed to the new one. The new one feels flat for whatever reason. I just felt, I don't know, if you guys go and listen to the old theme song and then listen to the new one, I swear the older one just seems better. There's something like a little bit flat about the new theme song, so I didn't enjoy the new theme song as much as the old one, even though they're very, very similar in nature. Just a couple of lyric changes, but the I swear the melody just sounds bad. If you go and listen to them side by side, the old one is better, in my opinion. So there's that. So I just wanted to mention the theme song really quick in this review. So yeah, the first, so that Jurassic Lark, it's obviously a parody of Jurassic Park, and they just or suspended animation part one. Yeah. So, was this three? Was this 4 episodes? Hold on. Jurassic Lark suspended animation part one of mice and memes. And, okay, so I guess they split it into like 4 episodes. So like the beginning was like a couple minutes long about Jurassic. It was about them like coming back into the Warner Brothers lot after all the years that had passed since the '90s, since their show got canceled. They just kind of like meshed them together though. So like Jurassic Lark suspended animation. So that's weird that they split the name like that, but whatever. But yeah, so they come back to the park. Basically, it's very similar. It's very similar, but here's the thing. When I first watched this episode, I knew something was off. What was off? What was off with this episode? I said to myself, where's all the other characters? You watched the episode, right? And maybe when I originally watched it, I was like, I wasn't paying attention to the other characters. I was just like, okay, they're reintroducing a new generation to the Animaniacs, right? But like, I was like, where's what the hell's his name? Dr. Von Scratch and Sniff or whatever the hell his name is. I was like, where's that character? Where's those pigeons that do the Christopher Walken impression or whatever the hell? Where's that squirrel girl? Where's the nurse? Where's Hello Nurse? What's her name? Apparently, or no, she had a name. Like, what was it? Halloween Nurse or something? I don't remember. But yeah, we'll talk about that. Oh, I need to talk about this too. Hold on. So the original Animaniacs original producer unincluded. Is that what I wanted? Unincluded. Hold on. Yeah. So this was Clownfish TV did a video. No, not that one. It was here that they cut out one of the original series creators. I saw that video. Anime, was it original series creator cut out? So I think this is just a good little time to talk about it. Here it is on Reddit. Reddit talks about Hello Nurse. Hello Nurse. Oh, that's the Clownfish TV one that I was just talking about. Okay, so they have a sub episode called Manny Mansper. Oh, that one, yeah. But yeah, they did. They cut out the they cut out the freaking the original producer. They didn't even tell him that according to Clownfish TV here, they didn't even tell him that they were making it until he like found out about it himself. And that's not cool at all. I don't like the fact that they just kind of like, he put in all this love into the Animaniacs, and then they just kind of like gave him the middle finger and like, F you, buddy, get out of here. And they just made this reboot without him. And a lot of the original characters, so Animaniacs, let's see here. Characters. See. There's a whole bunch here, you got this character here. Oh, there's that Slappy Squirrel, that was her name. Minerva Mink, Rita the cat. That just looks like Bugs Bunny mixed with Sylvester, like some weird freak, like fan character, but it's a real character. Mr. Skullhead, Wacko, Skippy Squirrel. I like Skippy. Skippy's good. Beanie, Mindy. Wasn't there a character named like Elmira or something? Ralph. There's Ralph is back in. Out of all these, see all these characters right here, none of them come back. Like none of them. Like Ralph is like the only one. Bumpo. Pesto. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. You guys could probably see it here. There's like they don't. I kind of wanted pictures, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. A whole bunch of them. But a lot of them, like half of the cast is just gone. Like wiped, like not just gone, like wiped out. Oh, there's those pigeons. Yeah, those pigeons are I think it's the middle one that does like a Christopher Walken impression, like, "Oh, what's going on?" I don't do a good Christopher Walken, but you guys hear me here. Um, so yeah, there's that Doctor whatever the hell his name is, Von Scratch and Sniff character there. And Pinky and the Brain are back also, but like half, like look at this top 10 character. Look at the top 10 characters. These three are in. Gone. He's in like one episode. Gone, gone. Pinky and the Brain are back. Gone, gone. So we're missing a lot of characters. Wasn't there a character actually named Elmira though? Or am I like hallucinating here? Am I hallucinating? Kill it. That chicken character. Yeah, he comes back. That chicken there. I can't remember his name though, but we'll talk about him later. Was it? I swear, wasn't there a character called like Elmira? Or am I hallucinating? Elmira. See what comes up. No, she was there, wasn't she? This. Oh, that was on Tiny Toons. Oh, okay. I was wrong. I was wrong. It was actually on this show. I was like, what happened to that girl? And she was okay. Oh wait, was she in an episode? Is she in here? Animania. She was on Animania. Wait, I'm so confused. Where was she on? Was she on Tiny Toons and? Oh, this is weird. Tiny Toons reboot. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she's gonna be in both shows. I don't know. Well, she hasn't appeared yet, but like, hey, all right. Maybe I don't know. Like, here's a picture of her with the like. I just remember this character from the '90s, and I was like, where is that girl? Where the hell did she go? And wasn't she even in the theme song for the Animania? She was. I remember it. It was like something like, yeah, Elmira. I think it was Elmira. So I don't know what the hell happened to her. She's gone. She's completely gone. She does not appear here. Um, Oh, maybe she does as a cameo in like that chicken episode. I'll talk to that. I'll talk about that. But wow, I am 12 minutes in and I am still on the first episode. Holy shit, this thing's going to go on for like an hour, isn't it? I'm going to call the video a quickfire review, by the way. So anyway, where was I? Suspended enemy. Okay, so I'll just say that, yeah. So the Looney Tunes they come or the Looney Tunes the Animaniacs they come back, they get integrated. They talk to there's this new character. I think it's a new character. She's kind of like some kind of person of color CEO type of character. I guess. She doesn't really do much. She's not very funny. I don't know her name. Honestly, I don't even give a shit about her. Very terrible character. She doesn't do, and same thing with Ralph. Ralph is just kind of there. He barely does anything. I guess Ralph gets used more than the CEO woman. I don't even know her name, but whatever. So the CEO woman, very terrible and bland character. Literally does like fuck all. What else we got here? Okay, so that's the first one. So they basically they come back to the Warner lot. They get situated in their tower again. Ralph is back there sleeping and being lazy as usual. And that's basically it. Yeah. So and again, it's very alarming. When I first watched it, I wasn't paying attention, but it's very alarming to go back and think back now, and it's like, why aren't any of the old characters there? And unfortunately, we'll talk about it later in the chicken episode. We'll talk about that. So then, what was the other one? Mice and Men. What happens in Mice and Men? Oh, Mice and Memes. Oh yeah, this is a book I watched when I was a kid of mice and memes. Oh no. No, this is no. Fuck. What did I just say? This is a book I watched as a no. I meant to say this is a book I read in English class as a kid. It was called Of Mice and Men, and it has like Lenny and Carl, and it was a pretty good one. So this whole gimmick here is that Brain dresses up like a baby to become to do a viral video. Let me see here. Am I forgetting anything? Yeah, he wants to become a viral video so he can control the world with a hypnotism algorithm of some kind. But he doesn't get viral. Then he does become viral. Then like Pinky uses the hypnosis on this business pig thing, and then he shares that video, and then that's it. It just ends. It was this episode was very bad. And you know what? I'm sick of all these plots, and I know why they do it. I do know why they do it. Um, it's like all the kids nowadays, all they know is their phones, right? Like their mobile phones. Where's my phone? Let me see it here. All they know is their phones. Their phones, their phones, their phones. I see a lot of episodes of Teen Titans Go and all these kinds of newer age shows like Steven Universe and the whole 9 yards here. All these kinds of, I don't know, what are some other newer ones? Star versus the Forces of Evil, I guess, is one I watched a while back. The new Powerpuff Girls. You watch the old Powerpuff Girls compared to the new one, they use their phones a lot more. There's episodes featuring viral videos. That's something that the kids of today just, they're so not just the kids, the adults too. Everybody's so consumed with their phones. But I do see a lot of cartoons doing a viral video episode of cartoons, and sometimes they don't do just one; they do like 3 or 4 or 5 of them. Teen Titans Go and again Powerpuff Girls 2016 Reboot. Both of these kinds of shows, they do a bunch of episodes on like viral videos, and they're never very good. Honestly, they're never very good. Um, yeah. What do you want me to say? They're just not great, and it's a plot. It's a plot that I see over and over and over again about videos. It's like, here's this episode about something going viral, and then by the end of the episode they'll not be viral anymore. Also, what's that show there? We Bare Bears did this a whole bunch of episodes I watched. They even had this character named like Nom Nom, who is like some kind of celebrity animal. So it's overdone. It's just so overdone, and they don't get very meta. Animaniacs. You think it's going to be very meta about doing an episode with the word memes in it, and it just wasn't that great. Not a great episode at all. And then suspended animation. What happens here? Two workers, Enterprise. They explain that Star Trek has been Oh, this is where they sing about all the reboots. Yeah. So this is just a great little segment where they just sing about all these kinds of things like DuckTales and all these new shows that have been rebooted. And then at the very end, you see, remember I showed you guys that picture about the Hulu giving them a wad of cash and calling them sellouts. That actually happens in the episode. It was in the trailer. A lot of people thought it was just a joke for the trailer. No, that actually happens in the episode, the Hulu thing. I did a trailer reaction video a while back. So yeah, you guys can go watch that where their sellouts is Hulu. And yeah, that's it. That's basically it. The song was actually really catchy. It was like reboot it, redo it. I still remember it. It was probably one of the better songs on the entire reboot, honestly. Not bad at all. But yeah, that was it for the first episode. I didn't think I thought it I don't know, I was very mixed on it. When I first watched it, I didn't realize that all the characters were missing. I just kind of like let that slide. I'm like, "Oh, they're just reintroducing everybody to a new era of Animaniacs. They're trying to get people to understand who's Yakko, who's Wacko, and who's Dot." So they didn't want to like overstep by showing like all these old characters coming back at once, right? But now that I've watched all the episodes, I could tell you that like only like only like 1 or 2 of the old characters actually come back, which is disgraceful. And it's not as great, honestly. It's not as great. It's not a good look. It just feels very weird to not have all those old characters in. And so that was the first one. Episode 2, Warner's Unbound. Okay, what happens here? Okay, so I remember the how to brain your dragon. Let me just get a refresher here on the plot. This was the Greek. Okay, so everybody on my viral video, I guess it's viral, considering how much. I mean, again, compared to how much I usually get viewership wise, this is a viral hit for me. For other YouTubes, 1,000 videos would probably they would just sneeze at that kind of amount of views. But I only have 100 and something, 181 subscribers, so I basically almost did 10 times my amount of subscribers. Great. So what happened? What happened? In this video, I accidentally said. So what happens if you guys haven't seen this video? They accidentally put a phone number to a sex hotline. You can actually see the phone. The phone number is in my thumbnail. If you guys find that video, go on my channel and look at the thumbnail. You know, like how you guys can go to my channel. You can actually like go up here. Whoop. Hold on. Where am I going here? Yeah, right here. You could click my channel, click my logo, and you can go into my channel and you can actually click it for yourself. Yeah, that's that. You can look at that phone number. It is there. I'm not going to zoom in on it, but you can call that sex hotline for yourself. Apparently, some people in my comment section called the number and they said nobody picked it up, but it is a sex hotline. So that's pretty wild and hilarious. So go give that video a view if you haven't seen it yet. It's a great little video. It's only a couple minutes long, unlike this episode, which is already 20 minutes long. Oops. Well, I knew it was. I knew this was going to be a very long episode. So what can I say here? So what happens? So this is a telling of a, you know, a lot of time. Some of these episodes they do like they just take old school stories like from like Greek gods, Greek myths, and they do a Frankenstein episode with Pinky and the Brain here. This was the episode, wasn't it? No. That was a different one. That was where Pinky gets a bride. It's like it was like a parody of the Frankenstein's bride. But yeah, they do episodes where like they take the roles of like famous stories, and you guys know many shows did this. Samurai Jack even did this back in the day. They had Samurai Jack in with the story of Momotaro, which was this old school Japanese fairy tale about these immortal peaches. You would eat these peaches and they'd give you like immortality. I think is that what it was? Yeah, it's some shit like that. It's been a while. But yeah, Samurai Jack used to do like parodies of like Alice in Wonderland and all kinds of shit. So yeah, there's nothing new about this for cartoons. Yeah. So let's talk about it. So yeah, this is the Greek one. So it was a very boring episode. I didn't find it to be that great at all. Basically, they just they torment Odysseus. This was a very like not great episode, I have to say, or segment, right? Because the whole episode is an episode, but this was not a good segment. They just like kind of harass a guy, and then he ends up in hell, I think, or no, was that the other guy from the Olympic Games episode? But yeah, Odysseus, character from Greek mythology. Basically the Warners are gods in this one. They sink his ship. There's a parody. Oh yeah, inhabited by a Donald Trump style Cyclops. So now it's time to talk about the politicalness of the show and why I didn't like it. I can't give this show high marks because it was very woke. It like the old. I don't know if the old. I couldn't tell you. It's been so many years, but the old school Animaniacs. I feel like old school cartoons. They were more partisan. You guys know that word partisan, where it's like, or is the word bipartisan? Yeah, I think it's bipartisan, where it's like, they're gonna do a couple jokes on the left. They're gonna do a couple jokes on the right. So, for example, in one of the episodes they make a joke. There's a whole thing. There's a whole segment. Oh God, we got to talk about that one. There's a whole segment about manspreading. Oh fucking Christ. And then to give you, so that would be like a joke about the right, right? So that they're making a joke about the right. They're making a joke about men. So that's a very progressive joke. Things like mansplaining, which they also say. Mansplaining and manspreading. These are very progressive left-wing things. So they make a lot of jokes about the right-wing conservatism, Republicans. But when it comes time push to shove, you get very, very few jokes about the left. Very, very few. I would even say that the ratio is like eight or not for every like 8 or 9 jokes, which is not a great ratio. It's like for like every 8 or 9 jokes, there's one joke about the left. It's like for every 8 or 9 jokes about Republicans or conservatives, there's one joke about liberals and what do you call them? Democrats? Yeah, Democrats in America. I'm Canadian, by the way. Here we call them liberals and conservatives. You guys, maybe in your country you call them something different entirely. I have no idea. But here in Canada, one party is conservative, and then you have liberals. So Justin Trudeau is our liberal prime minister. And no, we don't have a president here. But yeah. So this show just gets very woke, and I didn't like it. It was it was surprisingly political. It was surprisingly woke. I didn't think it would be this woke. I thought it was going to be like, actually, what am I saying? If you go back and watch my trailer reaction, I fucking even said I was a little worried about how woke it was looking, just from the clips they were showing, and they actually showed the Cyclops that looks like Donald Trump. There was about like I think there was 6 or 7 Donald Trump jokes. 6 or 7 Donald Trump jokes in 13 episodes. That's a little fucking overkill if you're asking me. And it just, guys, it's terrible. It's too much political, too much wokeness, and all the fan favorite characters are missing. Like, what the hell was this? And God, I'm only on the 2nd episode. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it there. This was the Warner's Unbound one was very terrible. And let's see your plot. This was the one about the dragon. So Brain tries to slay this dragon. Some guy in a pub is like, whoever could slay the dragon could rule the world or whatever. And then Brain hears that, so he's like, I'm gonna go slay the dragon. The dragon ends up being a fucking actor, because why not? It's a cartoon. And this is a parody of the series How to Train Your Dragon, right? How to Brain Your Dragon. So he's an actor, and then they try and convince the king. Instead of slaying the dragon, he convinces the dragon that they need to, put on an act where he attacks the kingdom, and then the king signs over the paperwork for the castle. But then the dragon ends up destroying the castle, and it just wasn't great. Yeah, it's like in the end they get put in a dungeon, and Brain prepares for his next scheme. Oh my God, I almost forgot to talk about this. Brain's anime. No, I talked about this in the trailer reaction also. Brain's animation. His design, sorry, not his anime. His design in this show is terrible. Like, hold on, can we find a picture of Brain here? Pinky and the Brain reboot. Let's see here. So yeah, this is look at them. Look at Brain. Look at how awful that anime. And I don't know what the hell was going on, but like some episodes they had this tinge of yellow. Like, look at Brain here, right? Something looked like he should have been whiter, right? Like something just looks off about this incarnation of Pinky and the Brain. And here's how Brain used to look. He actually looks like an evil genius. Brain's eyebrows and color scheme here just feels so weird. It really does. It doesn't feel right. And I had to bring that up because, like, I don't know, it kept bothering me. I just kept looking at this Brain, and I'm like, this is what Brain used to look like. This is Pinky and the Brain back in the day. This is Pinky and the Brain today. They just look, now Pinky looks decent enough, but like his old design looks goofier. Like you could see just by looking at them. You look at Pinky here, right? And he looks like a goofy fellow. You look at Brain, you see a genius. You just see this genius that he looks menacing, and I guess he does have the little bit of eyebrows here, but like, I don't know, man. There's here they really went in on the low, but like it's just low budget looking, right? The new animation just felt and looks a little bit low budget, which is weird because they're competing against a show that aired in the 90s, and the new animation doesn't look as great as the old one. Like, what's going on? So I was a little bit I don't know. Oh God, there's that Trump. That's the Trump Cyclops I was talking about. But yeah, guys. So like, I just didn't dig it. Oh, and here's the so this is the CEO I was talking about in the first episode. Absolutely worthless character. Adds nothing to the show. They could, in fact, I feel like they wasted money even having this character in the show in the first place. She does nothing. They could have just brought back old characters and paid them instead of having this new character that literally does nothing. So yeah, I just feel like the old school Pinky and the Brain. Okay, there's one with brains. So you see a little bit of the eyebrows, but like the new version of Brain just really goes all in on the eyebrows. Um, I don't know, man. I don't dig the eyebrows. I don't dig this. They kind of look like they were dipped in urine. Look at Pinky, look at Brain, and then look how white and albino. They kind of had this albino mouse kind of thing going on. But now they look all tinged yellow, and it's so weird looking, man. Okay, so that's I just wanted to bring that up. So this episode was a bad. I think the first episode was way better than this one. How does this end? Dot sings. Oh God, this is just to hit home, just to hit home how political this shit gets. Dot sings a song about how women gain the right to vote. But then she finds out that cartoons can't vote. So in this episode, it was really good because, now hold on, I can't mistake. I'm jumping ahead of myself. So this episode shows how political this show can get. Right? It starts out so innocently, but it gets political way too quick. There's too much politics in this show. That's what I got to say. Too much politics. So Dot sings about how women gain the right to vote because, of course, it's like you have a show about cartoons where you could do anything. Let's make a shot about a fucking segment about Dot singing about how women gain the right to vote. Now, the old school Animaniacs did this where they would do a lot of educational songs and bits. But, like, this show doesn't feel like it's aimed at children. It doesn't feel like it's aimed at children. It feels like this was a very adult show. There were politics. There was tons of jabs at celebrities that children would not understand the references to. Uh, it, there's just I can't call this a children's show. I don't think I could call it a children's show. And I gotta say that the Pinky and the Brain segments were the best. Like comparatively, if I compare the Animaniacs segments to the Pinky and the Brain segments, I kind of just think to myself they should have just rebooted Pinky and the Brain. Honestly, speaking of Pinky and the Brain, what's that character's name? Bertram. Okay, no, I'll talk about it later. Um, Dot sings. Wait, was he in this? Was he in the How to? Hold on. They could take over the when Pinky Red. No, he wasn't in that episode. I don't think, or maybe he was. Maybe he was. Benedict Brain. No, he wasn't in. But basically, back in the old Pinky and the Brain show, there was this. Was his name Snowball? I think his name was Snowball. He was kind of like a villain to Brain, and there was another little, like a fat little chubby comic relief mouse. Um, he is in here, but he only has one line, and then he disappears. So that character, I'll talk about him a little bit later. But yeah, so this show gets political. I like now. Here's the wild thing. I didn't like how they get political in this like kind of bit here where they talk about, and they do this a couple times. Maybe I'll talk about Dot. Yeah, I'll talk about Dot. So Dot is very insufferable in this show. I could not stand Dot. I couldn't stand Dot. They use Dot very like way too much. They use Dot. She has three brothers, or not three brothers. She has two brothers. Yakko, so it's Yakko, Wacko, and Dot, right? It's the Warner brothers and the Warner sister. The Warner brothers, Yakko and Wacko. Oh, here they are, right here. Here's Yakko, there's Wacko, and Dot is the pink one with the bow tie. Okay. So Yakko, he's very similar to his old incarnation. Very similar. They don't overstep with Yakko. He's just very smooth character. He has his jokes, he has his moments. He always feels like the leader of the Animaniacs. Wacko is the comic relief kind of character. He always eats gross things, and he's always eating. And like I said, just a comic relief character that's kind of stupid. He's kind of like the stupid brother, where he mistakens. He kind of feels like Homer Simpson in a way. He's kind of like always eating and acting dumb. So Wacko is kind of like the Homer Simpson of this show. And then Dots, right? So Yakko, in my opinion, was the best. Then Wacko. Wacko gets like no, I don't know what happened to Wacko this show, but holy shit, they focus so much on Dots, you barely even get to see any of like Wacko. Wacko is there, but like there's like one episode with about donuts, but like Wacko gets like shafted this show, and they go too hard on Dot. They always go on Dot, Dot, Dot. It's always Dot this, Dot that. Too much Dot. Holy shit, I need some water. Oh my god. so so yeah, too much Dot. I was just sick of Dot by the end of this show. When this show ended and I watched all 13 episodes, I said, no, I'm sick of Dot. She's now one of my least favorite characters on the Animaniacs. Can't stand Dot now. So yeah, Dot, she's just so annoying. They use her as a political device for a lot of these women jokes and shit. I guess, what do you expect? She's the main female of the show, but like, come on, it was too much. It was just too much. But yeah, so anyway, this episode, why I liked it is because they actually had a bunch of throwbacks to the Jetsons and Yogi Bear and Looney Tunes, and some of them actually spoke, which was really cool. So basically, they sing a song about women getting the rights to vote, but then Dot finds out that cartoons can't vote, and then she starts rallying up a bunch of cartoons owned by HBO Max or Warner Brothers or Comcast, whichever one you fucking want to. So they have a bunch of characters like the Jetsons. They have, I think the Flintstones were in there. A whole bunch of Looney Tunes. The Tiny Toons reboot. There's a Tiny Toons reboot coming up soon. I think that's next year, if I'm not mistaken. Tiny Toons reboot coming soon next year, and they showed some of the Tiny Toons characters. There might have been a couple others that I'm forgetting about. There was a bunch of old school Hanna-Barbera types of characters. Was Scooby-Doo in there? Scooby-Doo might have been in there. I wasn't. I forgot. There might have been Scooby-Doo. I can't remember. But they had a whole bunch of old school characters. And Bugs Bunny, and I think a couple other, like Sylvester talks. And so that was just kind of cool just to see all these old cameos of old characters. But honestly, it was just kind of silly. It was just, this episode was just terrible. I would give this episode very low marks for a second episode in the show. Just very low marks. So we're now on the third episode, and I'm getting really worried because I'm 40 minutes into this thing, 38 minutes, and I'm only on the third episode. Holy shit. Forgive me, guys. Forgive me. I didn't realize I had this much to say. Let's get in. So this is one of the best episodes. So this was clearly one of the better ones. So what happens here is gold medalers. There's this character right here. I'm not going to read the synopsis because I remember it. So that's how good. I actually like this episode so much that I remember it off by heart. Well, not the whole thing probably, but basically the Animaniacs are camping. Turns out they were camping in the middle of a trophy. They were at the Olympics of some kind. And they were in their campfire when they were camping. They were, it was an Olympic torch, I think it was, right? You know how the Olympic torch is a fire? So they put up like a campsite inside of the trophy, the torch, I don't, whatever it was, right? They had a little campfire and they were roasting marshmallows, but then they ran out of chocolate. And you guys know how when you were kids, right? Did you guys ever? I don't know. I'm in Canada. Here we have golden money. No, hold on. We don't have golden money. We have a thing called a loonie. Okay, it's called okay, hold on. Let me give you guys an example. If you're not Canadian, you might loonie. This is what a loony looks like. See how it's golden? Um, it's golden and it has this little duck on it, or it's a loon. It's a loon. How could I forget? It's a loon. There's a bird called the loon, and they actually taught us in school. In Canadian school, you have to do a loon call. Not all of the classes. I'm sure you have to go like this. You have to do it like this. Now there was also a way where you could like put your hands like this and go. You can make these weird loon noises, right? And it's like. Yeah, so there's all these ways in school. They taught us how to do a loon call. I don't know why I'm bringing this up. It's kind of weird, but oh my god. So yeah, this is our money. We have these kind of like, they're not made of actual golds, but they look kind of golden. So what they do is they have here in Canada, they have golden coins. They have like golden loonies that have chocolate in them, like golden chocolate coins, right? Like loony chocolate, right? Like they sell these at every dollar store. You can go to any dollar store. We also have our other money. It's called, see this polar bear? That's called a toonie. It's worth $2. So the loony has the loon, and the toonie has a polar bear. Yeah. You think they would have called it like a poonie because it has a polar. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Okay, anyway, but yeah. So here's the money, and you can see here it's like they sell these golden coins with chocolate in them, and so the Olympic gold medals, right? They see the gold medals, and Yakko, or no, was it Wacko? Wacko thinks there's chocolate in the Olympic gold medals, so they try and go up against this guy. What was this guy's name? I honestly don't remember. Nils. So this is the star of the reboot. This is my favorite character in the entire reboot. His name is Nils, and wow, that sucks that I couldn't remember his name, but Nils, he's kind of like this German. He kind of has an Arnold Schwarzenegger, like. You guys ever see the old Yu-Gi-Oh GX Crystal Beast meme? Hold on, let's pull that one up. Yu-Gi-Oh GX Mammoth. If you guys go watch this show, if you this is Yu-Gi-Oh GX. This is one of my favorite. It's an anime. As a kid, right? It's the Yu-Gi-Oh GX anime. They dubbed it over, and Crystal Beast Emperor Mammoth sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he's like, I love you, Jesse. And so that's exactly what they have. Nils is that exact thing. So they try and get the chocolate out of the metals, even though they're not actually made out of chocolate. They're actually just gold metals, right? And yeah, that's what happens. So they compete against Nils. They kind of they do things in their own unique way and kind of just like win the medal. They keep winning like all of the medals, I think. This Nils character, he's like the best athlete in the world kind of thing. So he defeats all the other characters, but then Yakko, Wacko, and Dot, they do their own challenges in their own way, and they end up winning like all the gold medals. And he doesn't win one of them. And so yeah, but it was really funny to watch. This was easily the best episode of the best segment and the best episode, probably. Maybe it wasn't the best episode. I gotta think over the other bits, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, Nils was a really great, funny character, and what happens in the end is basically he gets sent to hell. They realize the medals don't have chocolate in them, and Nils is crying like a little baby. So they give him all the medals, and he holds them up. He's a giant buff man, but he can't do it. And then I think he falls down into hell. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he like falls into hell, literal actual hell. And there's like skeletons that are holding up scorecards and shit like that, and they actually hold up like a 666, which is the sign of the devil. So this is very clearly, this is not a kids show. There was so much jokes, so much political things, so much, religious things. I don't think I could call this a kids show. I really, it was just, it wasn't a kids show. It was a very mature show, I'd have to say, surprisingly. But yeah, the medals are too heavy, and Nils falls underground to hell. So look at that. I knew the entire episode. That was easily one of the better ones. Pinko and the Brain. Um, Pinky and the Brain. I can't remember this one. Hold on. What was this? Senator named Garp as a gift. Brain plans to take Garp's place and blackmail, allowing him to take over the world. Kids are allowed to ride the Brain. Garp. Brain arrives in the office. Is this the one? Wait a minute. Is this the one? Oh my god, this is the one. Okay. This was a silly one. Basically, Brain. Now, in the old Pinky and the Brain cartoon, Pinky builds this suit, like it's a man suit, and he has his head. And it was so weird because everybody thought he was a real human, even though he clearly has the mouse of a head, or the head of a mouse. And that was a very old school, like Pinky and the Brain thing where he has the suit on. So the suit kind of comes back in this episode. It was a good throwback to the old school Pinky and the Brain fans of that show. So this is the weirdest one. Pinko and the Brain. I'm not exactly sure what they were referencing with the theme here. Pinko and the Brain. Most of the episodes have like some kind of name. This one's called like Gold Medalers. Sometimes they reference other things. So like the episode was called How to Brain Your Dragon instead of How to Train Your Dragon. Okay. Anyway, so this episode was really weird. Basically, Pinky and the Brain start accusing other members of like Congress, or what was it? Other senators. They basically have a plan to get rid of all the other senators, and they start convincing them that they're mice, that they're like conspiracy mice. It was so weird, man. It was such a weird episode. I don't know what it was referencing. It must be referencing something because like basically they try and accuse humans of being mice, but then in the end the senator who was just outside playing with a fire truck the whole time ends up just getting his job back, and then Brain escapes by rocketing through the wall, and Pinky puts Pinky in his pocket. It wasn't Bree accuses Brain and Pinky of being mice, but Brain pretends to prove it by showing Pinky. Pinky screws up. Pinky gets nervous, and he tells everyone that he was lying and that Brain and Pinky are probably actually the mice, not everybody else. So it was, what a weird episode, man. Like, what a weird episode. Okay, hold on. The episode parodies the second Red Scare that took place through the 1940s and 50s in the United States. This is the second time Brain says hell. Interesting. The human suit cue from Win Big. Was that the episode where he goes to become a trivia? Yeah, this was the suit, right? Like I said, this is the suit from the old school Pinky and the Brain. That was a very iconic episode. Was it the episode where he was playing trivia though, or was that a different one? I can't remember. It's so long ago. Masterpiece, which is probably like the word masterpiece. Dot presents a dramatic math lesson, calling it a tale of betrayal. It involves poverty-stricken women. A poverty-stricken woman named Nancy, who has 5 apples that she saw. Oh, this was like one of those rhyming ones. And then so it's one of those ones where it's like a woman has 5 apples, then a robber steals one. How many apples does she have left? It was one of those kind of ones. How many apples does she have left? 3. As the segment draws to a close, a future problem is alluded to involving a train traveling 40 miles per hour that left. So yeah, this was a bad. I didn't like that one very much. I thought it was very uninspired and boring. I didn't find it to be that great, honestly. Let me get some more water. Holy crap, my voice is just going. Oh my god, guys, I'm so sorry. And let's keep going here. So we're now on episode 4. After 50 minutes, yeah. So maybe I'll speed up here a little bit. Okay, and now I can't speed up because I have to talk about this one. Bun control. Okay, so this one, they think that they're clever, but they're not. They're not. This episode falls apart. So Bun Control is a parody of gun control. Okay, so it's a parody of see, here you go. Is a thinly veiled parody of whatever the hell, a guns right activist and the executive vice president of the National Rifle Association. So the whole gimmick, the episode was about gun control. You know, like guns, like psh, psh. But instead of guns, they use bunnies. Okay, so there's like this guy. Actually, let's read right here. A farmer named Dwayne Lapistole arrives at the Warner Tower, who moved in next door. And again, where the fuck are all the other characters? We have the entire Warner Brothers lot, and none of the other characters are here. You know, so there's except for Ralph. Ralph is there. Ralph is like the only one. And then the next morning, oh yeah, so he gives them bunnies. And then the next morning, the bunnies have multiplying, saying, like, trying to allude to say that, like, people were given guns, and then they saw that they liked the guns, like, they liked the bunnies, they found the bunnies adorable, and then they got more guns when they woke up in the morning. It's a very terrible parody of gun control, honestly. It just falls apart. It's so terrible. It's very poor. And then Yakko tries to return the bunnies to Dwayne, but he refuses, saying that people with lots of bunnies are better people. Basically saying that people who have lots of guns are better, which is it's such a terrible, like, it just isn't done well, like, at all. You see what they're trying to do here, you know? Instead, they go to the CEO, Norita, to report. Oh yeah, this is the woman. So that's that brown CEO. She doesn't do, like, fuck all. Like, they could have wrote that character out and brought back some of the old classic characters. Like, Nora was just useless and was the worst character on the show. Other than Dot. Dot was just terrible, terrible character. Any other characters I didn't like? Ralph was just kind of eh. Ralph was not that great, but whatever. It's Ralph, you know. But it would have been great to have more characters. So maybe if there were more characters, I wouldn't have been. Maybe Nora would have been better if there were other characters in the mix, you know. So it's like they just kind of, like, Nora is just a very whiny character. I just didn't like her. She's just annoying. She's just there. She kind of does nothing. She just kind of, like, moves the plot along for like a second, and she's not even funny. So I didn't like her at all. So Nora says she wants the bunnies kept in the studio, and the Warners are kicked out. The water tower explodes, filled with bunnies. So again, how is that? You know, it's not a very good allegory. It's just not good. The Warners get very angry and the show changes into an anime battle. So if you guys have seen the anime, I used that as my thumbnail in the last time when I did the trailer. So yeah, they do like an anime kind of like skit where the guy uses the bunnies as weapons, which, you know, it's like the bunnies are gun control. You know what I mean? Like, the bunnies are supposed to be the guns, so he's using bunnies as a weapon. And it just doesn't work. It doesn't work, guys. It just doesn't work. And but the anime scene was pretty funny, I guess. For like a couple minutes. It was only like a minute or two. The show changes back into normal form, and Wacko decides to call the dingoes. The dingoes? Oh, right. Because Australia, they have like what do you call it? Culling, you know, like when you like cull the animals. And so basically the dingoes, they don't eat the bunnies. They just, what do? The dingoes take all the bunnies and sell them to people, while Dwayne is bagged and put in a truck. Yeah, it's so bad. This episode, look, the anime scene, look, don't get me wrong. The anime scene, for like a minute, they should have just ran with the whole anime scene. This should not have even been an episode about gun control. This should have just been an anime sequence that was just really cool. They had a cool battle, and that was that. If they had just done that, this episode would have been fantastic. They did not do that. The anime sequence was cool, don't get me wrong, but the entire episode was just garbage. Other than the anime fight, it was just garbage. That's all I have to say on that one. It wasn't a good look. Ex Machina. So that's you know, Ex Machina is probably, you know. Uh, Brain is working on a new invention to take over the world. Pinky is very curious. Brain presents it as the binary. Oh, this is the one. He makes a robot version of himself, and then there's not much to say here. This was a good episode. I like this one. Um, Basically, the mouse determines that Pinky is actually one of the reasons why he is that wait, or was that the other one? No, that was the other one. Sorry, I got mixed up. There's another one where a brain comes back from the future. And anyway, that's not that. This is the episode where he makes a robot, but then the robot, the robot actually wants to take over the world, which is really interesting because the robot basically says that he wants to like literally destroy the world. The only way to actually take over the world is to destroy Pinky and the Brain because they're trying to take over the world. You see, like every day they try and take over the world, right? So then the robot's like, no, the only way that I can have the world under my control is if I destroy it. So then nobody can own the world. And it was this whole thing. It was pretty good though. It was so it's like Brain suggests his own plan, the robot Brain, which includes destroying both Pinky and the Brain. He becomes very large and asks for any last words. Pinky asks a stupid question, which makes Brain's system explode because of an error. Yeah, this is another one of those things where like they trick the robot. They're like, it was one of those stupid things where it's like, hey, robot, if you're so smart, divide by 0. And, you can't really divide by 0. So it's like, well, you could, but like, no. It'd be like infinity, right? It's like, no, you can't divide. You're not supposed to divide by 0 in mathematics, right? But that's exactly how the robot kind of like destroys itself. It's one of those stupid things. There was a song called Bonding. That was a decent one. That was a decent song. Pretty decent. And was there anything else? Bloop. The Warners are hosting a convention for an app named Bloop, which is a 1/10 of. Oh, they were making. So this episode felt like they were making fun of Quibi. Basically, they come out with this thing called Bloop, where it only shows like one frame of like it's like an app. It's an app that shows like 1 second of footage, and then they just show all these like weird slides. And then Bloof is acquired by an app named Spooter, which has binding lights and sounds that only dogs can hear. Yeah, this was it was a fun little parody. This episode, this segment, whatever you call it. This segment was very. It was okay. I thought it was good. It was probably better than some of the other segments. It was short. It was sweet. It was to the point. It got the job. It got the job done. It got the job done, guys. So that was a pretty good one. So just moving right along here. What do we got here? Episode 5. Good. So that's probably a parody of Good Will Hunting. And then this. Okay, so this was the best episode. Or no. Hold on. Was it the best episode? No. Was it? I can't tell you. This was easily one of my favorites, but I think the one with Nils, the guy with the Olympic medals, I think that I don't know why I enjoyed that one more. But this one was a really good episode for fans of the old show. Basically, they realize there's this hunter character, right? This hunter character who ends up being the chicken from the old show that like wears human skin as a suit. Hold on, what the hell? We gotta look at the synopsis here. So it's Good Warner hunting. So he wants to hunt the Warner brothers. This episode was okay. It was probably one, like I said, it was one. No, it wasn't okay. Okay, it was because it talked about some of the older characters. I just like it more. It had nostalgia, so my nostalgia senses are telling me this episode was better than I think it is. But that's what I'm gonna say. I think it was good because it had nostalgia compared to some of the other episodes. But the Nils one, the Olympic one, was still good. The gold medalers, whatever episode segment. So the Warners are trying to think of new ideas for a show, but they're stuck with nothing. They wonder what happened to most of the other characters, like Minerva Mink, Slappy Squirrel, Good Feathers, etc. So they're wondering where are all the other characters on the Warner Brother lot, right? Oh my god, sorry guys. My voice, I'm just going, you know. So they're wondering where's all the other characters. And it turns out that the hunter named Dr. Walter Grubb took them and mounted them. That was kind of, when I saw that, I was like, what? So it seemed to imply that this random hunter character murdered all the old characters at some point in the last 20 years. He murdered them all, and they it was so weird. They were all just, their heads were on the walls, like, you know, like a mounted moose antlers, and, you know, like a fish that you would mount onto a wall. So their heads were all mounted to the wall like a hunter would do. But I was like in shock. I'm like, oh my god, did they actually kill all these characters? I was like, no, this has to be like, this is probably gonna end up being a dream or something. But it was so weird, man. It was so weird. So yeah, it doesn't end up being a dream. It was apparently canon. But so he wants to hunt the Warner Brothers. So Grub, the hunter, asks them to read a bedtime story. Grub ends up being the chicken, but what was the chicken's name? Grub catches the Warners and brings them to his mansion. Once there, the Warners notice he has every cartoon character in the show except for Pinky, the Brain, and Chicken Boo. That was his name, Chicken Boo. The Warners aren't surprised. However, since Boo was the least popular character, at least according to Yakko, and he wasn't allowed in the reboot, which isn't true because he was in the reboot in this episode. He is the main villain of this episode. After this point is brought up, Grub is revealed to be Chicken Boo in disguise. So he was wearing like a human suit. Yakko Warner lets Chicken Boo run away, anticipating for the other cartoon characters coming out of the wall. The flame doesn't appear, and chasing Chicken. Yeah, so it was so weird, man. It was so weird. What do you even say? It was like he had these characters mounted to the wall, and then they just kind of like, they come off the wall and they're alive again. And I was like, what the fuck? What was that? So this episode, like, it was cool because this is the only episode that shows those old characters. Like, all the old characters are there, but like, they don't talk. They don't say anything. They're just mounted on a wall. And then in the last like minute or like couple seconds of the episode, they pop back to life somehow, I guess because they're cartoons. You know, cartoons, I guess, never die. They're used in a bit and then they come back, I guess. But they spontaneously spring to life and chase Chicken Boo. It was just good to see the old characters again. That's all I have to say on that episode. So I don't know. I have very mixed feelings. Maybe I don't know what I would give that, a 5 or a 6 out of, maybe a 7. I was just really happy to see them making references to some of the old characters. So anyway, Good Will Hunting. Yeah, I knew that. Okay, No Brainer. They're stuck in a high speed chase. Oh, is this the one? The Yakuza are on their tail. And Brain crashes, and then after 2 days, Brain wakes up in the Acme labs, but he can't remember the plan for world domination. So then they have to go into the NSA. Yeah, here it is, the NSA down here. They go to the NSA, and they go to Edward Snowden. I think he was the WikiLeaks guy, right? He was the guy who leaks stuff on WikiLeaks. A whistleblower who can get into the NSA. So then Brain breaks into the NSA, also that he can hear a recording of how he's going to take over the world. But they make a deal with Edward Snowden. He says he has a special plant that he left in his office when he was there at the NSA. He left his plant there. But then it turns out that it discovers that Jenny, so he calls the plant Jenny, was the secret to world domination. And unable to get the plant back, Brain decides to prepare for the next. Yeah, so it was an okay episode, I think. Actually, I'd probably say this one was above average for sure. I like the plot twist that, like, they go all the way to the NSA to get the message. They get the message, and the message was that Brain had his plan for world domination involved using this rare one of a kind plant that was owned exclusively by Edward Snowden. So they basically get the plant, give it to Edward Snowden, then listen to the message and realize that they needed that plant, and then they're like, screw it, we already did all this shit. Let's just do something else tomorrow night. So that was I kind of like that one. That was a very it was an exciting episode, I guess. Where is this one here? Ralph. This was very bad. This was just very, very bad. It was just a scene of Ralph on a security camera. There's like no sound, and all of this shit happens. I'm gonna let you guys read that. I don't want to go over this one. It was very bad. It was very low budget. They just do a bunch of animation jokes in the background while there's no sound, and he's on a security cam. That's the whole joke. It wasn't very good. So this episode was just the whole. If it wasn't for them showing all those old characters, this probably would have been one of the worst episodes. Actually, no. Okay, the Brain one was pretty decent. Okay, so this was a very like mediocre episode. I don't know what to say. This one was bad. This one was probably one of the worst. Oh my god. And I'm only on episode 6. Holy shit. So let's go a little quicker, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to go quicker. I just have so much to say. So I'll basically tell you that aliens come back. Okay, hold on. The cutening. So that Dot eats this adorable muffin. She becomes super cute. Is this this is the episode that the thing was pulled? My viral video. There was a sex number. We'll talk about that in a bit in the Pinky and Brain segment. So Dot goes out. She eats a cupcake. They all become cute, and then they use their powers to make the whole world cute. That actually reminds me of this old school Newgrounds video. I can't remember what happens. Like some dogs. They create some cute explosion. That's what the song was called. Yeah, Cute Explosion, I think it was. And then the whole world becomes cute. And it was something like that. So yeah, that's what that reminds me of an old Newgrounds video I think it was called Cute Explosion. And basically the same thing happens here. The whole earth becomes cute, and can't stop singing, and they go insane. And Dot notices gross pigeons, and wonders if they do gross things, they'll change back. And then everybody does something gross, and then everyone changed back. Except for the Warners become half pigeons, and then the episode just ends. So that was a very, I guess the animation style change was kind of cool again, but like, it wasn't anything special. Closing. So the Pinky and the Brain, by the way, guys, the Pinky and the Brain episodes were just way better. That was my opinion. I ended up liking I would watch episodes, and then I'd be like, I only want to see the Pinky and the Brain parts of this episode. It was so weird. So it kind of makes you wonder, maybe they should have just made a Pinky and the Brain show instead of Animaniacs. But yeah. So Brain makes a recording. Okay, this was this was probably the worst out of all the Pinky and the Brain episodes. This was just awful. Pinky and the Brain basically send a message into space, then some aliens hear it. And then it was just terrible. It was just all they do is eat food and sing karaoke with Pinky, and they do the song I Want to Dance. And then, Brain wants to use the alien spaceship to take over the world. The spaceship crashes. The scientists take Pinky and the Brain thinking that they're the aliens, and they are taken by the government and experimented on. And then Pinky notices that Gabriella is singing on TV, who's an alien. And it just wasn't a good episode. I didn't like that one. That was probably one of the worst ones. Just was not great. Equal time. Okay, what's this? The Warners are hosting the 2020 election with Dot reporting from Iowa, which is boring. Is this the one about Tucker Carlson? The Warners decide that they show electoral candidates ads for what they'll do. One ad is blah, blah, blah. She will make... He will jump out at people and says his ideas. Another party is about to play. Oh, okay. So in a presidential election, and here in Canada, there's different parties, right? This was the episode about that. They make jokes, or sorry, the little segment, not an episode. Um, they make jokes about all these different kinds of parties. So like, there's the Conservative Party, there's the Liberal Party, there's the Green Party, there's the here in Canada, it's called like the Bloc Quebecois, the Bloc Quebecois, where they want to Quebec wants to separate from Canada and be their own country. So if anyone ever elects the Bloc Quebecois, Quebec will probably be made a country instead of being a part of Canada, which is kind of weird. But anyway, so there's all these different parties, right? There's all these different kind of parties. So then, then they say like, oh, there's a birthday party, and there's a what were the other kind of parties? What kind of parties? Thanksgiving party? I don't know. They made a whole like surfing parties, and like they made all these kind of jokes. It was just okay. Oh, private pool party. That was one of the jokes. Yeah, if he's elected, he will make all private pool parties public. Okay. All private. Oh, sorry. They will make all private pools public pools, basically. So yeah, this was just kind of silly. It was having some fun. Let's jump into episode 7. So now we're halfway done. Halfway done. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize I'd be going on this long. I thought it could be half an hour. I was wrong. Warner, she wrote. Oh, this was the one on the train. Okay. Yeah, this one wasn't very good. Basically, Giggy is dog-napped by someone. Yakko searches for clues and finds that the owner was soaked with chloroform using Dot's magic tricks the night before. Dot accuses Wakko. She was sneaking off last night. Wakko explains that he was just taking a bath and almost everyone on the train saw him. The Warners search for more clues and find a letter saying it's from Giggy and that she ran away and is definitely not stuck in the luggage compartment. Yakko then finds, so they find her there, and the conductor dog-napped her, and then, they want to sell him on the black market, and he tries to murder the Warners. The Warners untie him and let her attack Margaret, and at the train station, the Warners reunite, so there was that. In the 1700s, this was the old school one, France one. There's not too much to say here. And then what was this? The gift wrapper. Oh god. Yeah, so this was just pretty bland. It was very quick. Basically, yeah. Oh yeah, and that was funny though. The DJ turned out to be Pinky in the Brain. But I don't know what I'm gonna say here about the France one. I'm trying to like move along. Maybe I should just yeah. But basically, this was just one of the ones where it was another historical one, right? Like they do these kind of things where they just do historical, or they'll take a book and they'll just, so like Pinky and the Brain do like a Frankenstein's Bride. They just do this is just like an episode that happens in France. I didn't think this episode was this was just a very okay episode. I didn't think too much of it, honestly. What else? Episode 7. Okay, this was a good one. I liked the not the first part. The first part was super predictable, but the Moschurian candidate was a standout. Definitely a standout. Okay, this is the most conflicting episode. I'm gonna talk about this one. The last episode I just briefly went over it. I didn't have a lot to say on that one. But this one though. This one I got stuff to say. So there's 3 segments here. The first one is called Who Done It, or Who Donut. And I'll tell you basically what happens. It's very I want to go over the Moschurian candidate, which is like the Manchurian candidate parody, I think. So who donut? Basically, somebody eats Wakko's donuts. They go through all these steps trying to figure out who did it. You know, it's one of those who did it, who donut, type of things. They try to make a parody of the who did it by calling the episode Who Donut. And basically what ends up happening is that Yakko eats the donuts in his sleep. So they go through all this shit, and then it just turns out, and I predicted that. I'm like, I bet it's gonna be like that episode of SpongeBob where, like, at the end of the episode, Patrick's like, "Who ate my chocolate?" or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, and oh my god, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? That old school episode of SpongeBob where what was it? They have like chocolate bars, and then Patrick's like, "Who ate my chocolate bar?" And then he's like, "No, seriously." And he doesn't realize that he himself ate it so quickly that it was one of those things. So like Wacko just eats the donuts himself in his sleep. He sleep ate his donuts. And they mentioned like some nasty flavors of donuts just for gross out humor. So it wasn't that good. And then before I talk about the Manchurian Mousturian candidate, Starbucks and Cindy was terrible. What the fuck happened? What was this? What the hell happened? Okay, this episode starts with a theme, a song of some kind, okay? The episode starts with a song, and whoever mixed the song, it's just so hard to hear the lyrics because it was done so poorly. I swear, like, watch this Starbucks and Cindy segment. The animation was bad. The music was bad. The vocals were bad. I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know what happened in this segment, but it was terrible. I bet you like college kids could have made a better segment than this segment that aired in an official episode of Animaniacs. It was shit. It's about this little toy. No, it's like an aliens trying to invade space, but they send like they send an alien down named Starbucks, and he tries to. All he has to do is press a button, and when he presses the button, the aliens out in space will invade the Earth. But they won't invade the Earth until he presses the button. So basically, this little girl thinks that he's not an alien. She thinks that he's a toy. And every time he goes and tries and presses the button, he just gets grabbed by the girl. And, it's like Cindy keeps on catching him, and Starbucks is tormented by Cindy while the aliens are still waiting for him to basically press the button so they can invade. Terrible. It was the worst. It was so bad. It was so bad that it was literally the worst segment on the entire show. You guys you let me know in the comments down below. It was fucking awful. It was so bad compared to everything else. The Mousturian candidate was a good one. Pinky and the Brain take a mouse. They make her intelligent. Her name is Julia. They mix a bunch of they get a blender. They mix some of the old president what do you call them? First ladies. They take a bunch of first ladies, like Hillary Clinton was the first lady to Bill, right? Bill Clinton, William Clinton, whatever his name was. And then they had like Jackie O, and then they had a couple other people. They took a bunch of like props from some of the old first ladies, and then basically Brain wants to take over the world politically. And you see what I'm saying? There is too much political shit going on in this show. I don't know what happened, but this is not a kids show. There's so much politics in this show, it's not even funny. So yeah, basically Brain wants to become like the president, but he needs a first lady, so he makes this mouse named Julia. Let's get a picture of her. And there she is. I thought she was a great character. I liked her character. Easily one of the best newer characters that they introduced. And yeah, he's supposed to be like, kind of like the wife of Brain. So yeah, Julia basically, Brain actually put a chip inside of her to control her, but she ends up fighting it. But then it sort of like half destroys her intelligence, and people figure out, basically Brain was supposed to be the candidate, but everybody ends up voting Julia because they like Julia better. Brain gets jealous, so he uses the switch he installed in her brain, and then the chip kind of like explodes, and her intelligence, she was just a normal mouse, right? She was just a normal mouse. But then So she kind of Brain thinks that she returns back to her primal form, but I guess she's like half and half, where she like sort of has the intelligence, but maybe sometimes she's out of the loop. I don't exactly know what happened, but basically in the end, Julia completely in the midst of the debate, the device malfunctions, and Julia runs off crazy. Her opponent Tanya Walsh wins the election, with Brain assuming that Julia had gone back to her primal state. However, Julia is spying on Brain while he plots his next scheme to take. So it was a very good episode. I would like Julia to come back in season 2. I thought it was a pretty good episode, honestly. This episode was so mixed. It's like the donut thing was predictable and bland. The Mouse-Churian candidate was really good, which is probably one of the best Pinky and the Brain segments I've seen. Even in the original show, I really just like this episode. And then Starbucks and Cindy, the worst, literally. So this episode was like the most middling thing. It's like you have an episode that's middling, you have an episode that's really good, and then you have an episode that's god awful. Or segments, I meant. So this was the most mixed bag episode in the whole goddamn show. So let's keep going. This episode, oh boy. Okay, so this is the one. Here comes trouble. Okay, so this is the one where the Animaniacs were what do you call it? Should I just speed through this one like I did with the 7th episode? Okay, basically the Animaniacs were doing this farmer bit, but the music, they kind of just keep getting messed up because of the musicians. Then the musicians end up like going to war. The main maestro ends up going to war with the Animaniacs. It's kind of like a very musical episode. They show off some of the people who do the violin work and all the kind of like classical music. And then they have them play a whole bunch of different songs. I thought this was just a below average episode. So the Warners multiply themselves. It was just boring. It was kind of boring. It was a musical, like I said, it was a musical episode where it's like, I don't know how to describe it. Basically, they fight the composers. They break the fourth wall. They end up fighting the composers of the show, and then basically they end up replacing all of the musicians. All of the musicians become Animaniacs, copies of Warner, Wacko, and Dot, and that's how it ends. And then they make him do the farmer scene. See how they were doing a farmer scene, and then he has to do the farmers. It was a below average episode. Future Brain. Okay, so this was the one where Brain comes back from the future. This was interesting. So Brain comes back from the future where he still hasn't taken over the world. He realizes that the real reason that he can't take over the world is actually because of Pinky, which is, obvious. It's kind of like obvious that a lot of the times Pinky ruins the plots, right? So yeah, he goes back. He warns Brain to kill Pinky, or else his plans will always fail. Basically, Brain denies it because he knew Pinky for years. Basically, they have a friendship, so they're not going to kill Pinky. He's not going to kill Pinky, right? And then basically, Future Brain says that Pinky foiled Brain, and Pinky ruins the plot, and he should have ditched him. But then Pinky manages to catch the teleportation device, but can't tell the difference between the two brains. Yeah, it's one of those things where they hold a gun and they're like, which one's the real one? They always do that in shows. It's like a trope. And then Pinky sends Brain back to the future, or to the past, and Future Brain makes friends with a fish in the past. Oh yeah. The Future Brain actually gets sent back into time, and he makes friends with a fish similar to Pinky, called Blinky. Oh yeah, because he was a little fish that blinked. Like they have him blinking all weird. And then meanwhile at Acme Labs, Brain plots his next scheme to take over the world. So I like that episode. It was pretty okay. This was a weird. What the hell was this? This was one of the weirdest ones like ever. The incredible gnome in people's mouths. Like what the hell was this one? Um, so basically, there's this gnome. Oh no, there and then okay, hold on. The segment revolves around a man named Mike Benton who searches for everlasting life. Mike does an experiment on himself, only to malfunction, and he turns into a gnome. Okay, this is the plot, guys. This is the plot. This is so weird. If you guys saw this thing, let me know in the comments down below. This was the weirdest, like, what the fuck? So yeah, he turns into a gnome when he's trying to make like real, like he's trying to get immortality, but he turns himself into a gnome. And the gnome houses in people's mouth. Like he literally lives in people's mouths somehow. You can actually see this guy here, like he's coming out of the mouth. A woman named Marcia goes on a date with a man named Sean, who claims he's in love with Marcia. And this is the weirdest thing because he only wanted to date her because of his pinball machine, or because of her pinball. Wait, what was the? Hold on. Sean only wants to marry her for money. Marcia says she's willing to pay for the meals. And then at the wedding, the gnome reappears. The gnome says that Sean only wants her for her pinball machine collection. Yeah, what the hell was this episode? This was the wackiest like shit. Like I don't know, man. Somebody smoked some cocaine and then they wrote this episode or this segment. And then the gnome leaves Marcia's mouth to go wherever he's needed next. So weird. So goddamn weird. Let's keep going here. What episode was I just on? Okay, episode 10. Oh my god, we're almost done, guys. We're almost done. I gotta go through these a little quicker. Okay, Animaniacs. Oh, this one. Okay, this was a good one. This was a really good one. Basically, out of all the episodes, I laughed so hard at this one, even though there was a couple of Trump jokes in there. I just found this one to be so funny because basically Russia makes their own parody of the Animaniacs, but instead of using cartoon characters, they use like grown Russian men, and like even Dot. It was pretty funny because Dot, and I really dislike Dot in this show, in this like series, in this reboot. This is like one of the only jabs at Dot in the entire show. Basically, these Russian guys, like I swear it's really funny. You guys should watch it. They're watching the Russian version of the Animaniacs on TV. Yeah, the Warners find an unlicensed version of their show from Russia used as pro-Putin propaganda, and has horrible acting. Yeah, so they just have these grown men as Yakko, Wacko, and Dot. And Dot was laughing at the other two, but then the Russian Dot comes in, and it's literally this giant man, the manliest looking man with a beard, and he's wearing like a pink like dress or in a bow tie or something. And then they're laughing at Dot because like she's like this giant Russian guy with a beard. And I just found it so hilarious. And then there's this funny they put this funny picture of Putin on the screen. But this entire episode was very politically making jokes at Donald Trump. They even mentioned that the episodes of Animaniacs were being animated in 2018. In 2018. And what ends because they were being made in 2018, that's when the impeachment for Donald Trump and the whole Russia Gate propaganda stuff, not propaganda, but like it ended up being false, right? It was all fake. He didn't get impeached. It was all just a Russian like hoax gimmick. So this episode was made during that time, and that's why they make a whole bunch of jokes about Donald Trump and Russia and Putin, and they make a joke about how Donald Trump has a plane that goes directly to Russia and all this kind of shit. So yeah, they Pinky in the Brain. Oh yeah, they also ripped off Pinky in the Brain. Yeah. So this was just a really good. It was a very funny episode. And I think you guys should watch. Out of all the segments, this one just made me laugh so much that I would really recommend this episode just as a fun little thing. Babysitter's Flub. This was the one with Pinky and the Brain, where there's this magical element that Brain says is the most powerful element in the world, and it's and one of the kids eats it, and then he literally gets like like psychic powers, and then yeah, and then he gains telekinetic powers from the meteorite, and he takes Pinky thinking he's a toy. Brain tries to get Pinky back, but Riley throws a tantrum, which causes a tornado. Pinky sings him a lullaby to get him to go to sleep. And then once he's asleep, he hiccups out the meteorite. Brain tries to grab it because he wants to use it the power to get world domination. But then Brain is covered by a trash can. So basically the parents see the mice and they capture them. And then they put Pinky and Brain in middle school. Yeah, there's a screen. So this is a preschool. This takes place in a preschool. There's actually a middle school across the street, and then the children in the middle school keep Pinky and Brain as the class mouse pets. Or no, I think what was this the episode where they were operating on one of them or something? I can't remember. Brain says that if they get out, he will take over the world tomorrow night. Meanwhile, another kid eats the meteorite, causing her to float up in the air with the other kids. So yeah, who knows? Maybe that meteorite will come back in another episode. That's kind of like how they left that. But who knows? The Warner Brothers is this the one? Is this the one with Carl Tuckerson? No. This was they take a shot at the. So this was a good segment. This was one of the only times they take a shot at left-wing media. Basically, hold on. They basically talk about how the media is just not so great. You know, like a cage goes over the reporters, and it basically was trying to make a joke about how the state of the media is just like they're prisoners, like they're just. It's hard to explain, but like what I got out of it was like they were trying to make a joke about how the media is like enslaved by the networks that own them. You guys know what I mean? Like, so right now, Fox News, a lot of people are banning Fox News for what's that one? Newsmax or the ONAN, I think it's called OAN, the One America News. I think that's what a lot of conservatives are abandoning Fox right now. Right, because they made some really bad calls. They've been getting progressive. They've been getting really progressive recently, and basically, I think they were trying to make a joke here that like, even though they're conservatives, like Fox News is very conservative, right? Even though they're conservatives, they were trying to say like, the higher ups who own them, whatever their political leaning is what they're going to talk about on the show. So right now, Fox Network has been getting very left wing, very woke. And I think they were just trying to make a joke about how like reporters are caged animals that like they must comply with the networks. That sometimes, even if they have a big scoop, if they might just say, drop that scoop, we do what we tell you to report on. I think that's what they were trying to make about the whole cage going over the reporters. And the reporters must be kept illegally until further notice. The studio takes away the reporters. Yeah, so that's what I think they were trying to say on that one. It was a bit of a toss up of what they were trying to say there. But yeah, guys. So that was that episode. Let's keep going. We're on episode 11. Phantomaniacs. Is this the one? Oh, The Bride of Pinky. So this is the one I was talking about. Let's see. What was the Phantomaniac? A little girl who is sleeping with her family wakes up to find the TV with static on. The Warners pop out as ghosts. Yeah, this was just a parody of The Ring, I think it was, where she comes out of the TV with the VHS. Or is that right? Oh no, it was apparently a parody of Poltergeist. I'm wrong. And then him and his siblings go back into the TV. However, it turns out the family's cat used the TV to suck them back inside. But the little girl turns the TV back on, and the water tower appears in her eyes, saying, "They're back." Yeah, this was a bad this was a very, very badly written segment. I would not recommend that segment. It was very, very bad. Okay, and then so here we go. Fear and was this a 4-1? Phantomaniacs, Fear and oh, this is the Halloween. Okay, so this is very interesting because it seems that this was going to be a Halloween special, but the Animaniacs aired, I think it was on November 11th. It almost seemed like the Animaniacs were supposed to be a weekly show because this was a Halloween episode. Right now, I realize that the show aired all the episodes 1 week or 2 weeks after Halloween ended. So it kind of makes sense to do a Halloween episode. But like, I feel if I'm gonna go into the realm of conspiracy theory, I'm gonna say that I feel like at some point it almost feels like these episodes were supposed to air like once a week, and then they were gonna line it up so that this episode lined up with Halloween. But then they just dumped all the episodes for binge watch. I don't know. That's just a theory I have. Because this was very this is oh my god, hold on. So yeah, it was just a theory I had. You know, there might not be any merits there. But it was very clearly a Halloween episode, I'll say that much. So this episode was pretty good. The Pinky and the Brain one, this was definitely one of the better ones. Oh, I almost skipped this one. This was it was a parody of It. What was the episode called? Fear and Laughter in Burbank. So it was a parody of what's the thing here called? It, right? Pennywise the Clown. Yeah, so it was Pennywise they make a parody. It's his name isn't Pennywise, but it was a parody. Basically, I think this was actually a good episode. Basically, this clown wants to scare the crap out of them. Finger points to the candy. Yeah. Wacko hesitates. Okay, the figure reveals himself to be a clown. Wacko gets extremely scared. Apparently, Wacko is afraid of clowns due to his fear of clowns, but then he doesn't even get scared by it. It was kind of weird. And then Yakko asks if he left the circus to become a circus clown. The clown denies it and says that Nickel-wise, so Pennywise the clown. I think Warner Brothers owns the right to It. So they were able to make this pair, or maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm wrong. But I know Warner Brothers owns Harry Potter. There was a joke about Harry Potter. There was like a knockoff Harry Potter in the first episode, in the Jurassic Lark episode, in the first one. I think Harry Potter appeared there for like a quick second. So let's see here. So yeah, basically the clown just chases them around, but then they annoy Nickel-wise the clown so much that he starts shrinking, and they start laughing, and like he tries to trick Yakko into eating plastic, but then he just eats it anyway. Or sorry, Wacko. Did I say Yakko? I meant Wacko. So yeah, and then Dot, he tries to scare Dot by making her appear old in the mirror. But she loves being like, she loves her older senior citizen look, and she tries to like scare them all, but like they just don't get scared. And then Nickel-wise ends up getting annoyed. He gets annoyed by how crazy and wacky they are, and he starts shrinking, and his powers stop working. But then at the very end, Ralph, he goes in the sewers and he scares Ralph. The Warners find only his clothes and wonder where he's gone. They think he really is a John Travolta. Oh yeah, they make a bunch of jokes about John Travolta here. While Nickel-wise comes into the bath where Ralph is hiding from Halloween. Yeah, so he scares Ralph at the end. That's that was a pretty good one. I gotta say, that was probably a good one. Bride, this was one of the better Pinky and the Brain shorts, or segments. Basically, I'll tell you guys what happened. It's a knockoff of the Bride of Frankenstein. Basically, Brain, it takes place in like the 1800s or something. Sorry, I need some water. I am all out of water, guys. Hold on. Let me get another water. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so yeah, he it takes place in the 1800s. Basically, they Pinky falls in love with the monster. They make a female monster that has like I don't know, like crocodile hands or something, or like I can't remember what kind of hands she has, but um yeah, basically, they Brain has the idea that if they do a wedding, um, they can take over the village. Oh yeah, this is one of the ones. Usually, Brain says, you know, we're gonna try and take over the world, but this is one of those rare ones where he says we're gonna try and take over the village. Sometimes they used to do that kind of thing back in the old days. Um, so yeah, basically he tries to use the monster, the female monster, to scare the, you know, her name is Drusilla. He tries to use her to scare the people, and they have a wedding, and you know, he wants to take over the town, but it doesn't work. And then Brain makes another monster at the wedding. When everyone sees Drusilla's true self, they chase after Pinky and his bride, while Brain finishes. Um, Basically, Brain makes like a parody of Frankenstein, and then Drusilla wants the new monster, so she doesn't. She falls out of love with Pinky, and then that's basically it. It was pretty good though. I think this one was it was like a love story, but it was pretty good. I would say it was pretty good. The title of this cartoon is proof on the Bride of Frankenstein. Yeah, no shit. um, so yeah, I thought this was just pretty good. Prior to this episode, elements of Frankenstein were spoofed in the Pinky and the Brain episode Brain Acres. So that was a way back in the old days. But anyway, so things that go bump in the night. Okay, this was a very short segment. I actually liked it. I thought it was just okay. Like it was just so quick. It was short, sweet, to the point. Basically, they had a bunch of monsters and their eyeballs. You know, like the entire screen was black, and they just had a bunch of eyeballs. You guys know how, like in old cartoons, they would turn off the lights, and then the characters would be talking, and then there would be like a monster and you would see his eyeballs. They would do this in Scooby Doo too, I think. Um, so things that go bump in the night, and then they just had a bunch. There was like this giant like Cthulhu monster, and then they were scared of it. Yeah, it's like another monster bumps in and says he doesn't have a tail. Then a monster starts licking other monsters, which turns out to be a gigantic monster who will one day rule the world. And then the other yeah, it's like some kind of like Cthulhu creature, you know, or is it pronounced Cthulhu? Cthulhu? I don't know how to pronounce. Okay, whatever. You know, you guys know what I'm talking about. It ends up being this like evil, like terrifying monster, and then all the other monsters are like, oh shit! Even though we're monsters, we're not dealing with that guy. So, yeah. Um. So that's episode 11. Uh, episode 12. Episode 12. We're in. We're almost at the 2 hour mark. Holy shit. So here we go. We're a zit. Oh, this was not a good episode. I thought this was just a disgusting episode. Dot gets a zit, and the zit ends up coming to life. But zits only have like a week or 3 week long lifespan. Um, yeah, and at the end it says R.I.P. Zit because he only lived 1 week. Sorry, it was 1 week. I meant 1 week. Um, so that was just a bad episode. I didn't like that one. 1001 Narfs. This was a parody of 1001 Tales of Shizure, or what was it? Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves, Aladdin, Sinbad. Yeah. So they just look, Pinky and the Brain do that a lot. They just take like old stories and just a lot of these episodes were just rehashes of old stuff. You know what I mean? Um, Capatra tests are spoofed. Okay. CAPTCHA. Oh yeah, yeah. They do a test where it's like, please identify the ones that are trucks or I can't remember. um, they also they didn't do the open sesame joke. I remember like there was this old Looney Tunes bit where it was like, oh, they would always try and guess it, and it would be like open sarsaparilla, open. They couldn't remember that the password was open sesame. It was an old Looney Tunes Bugs Bunny joke, but they didn't do it here. They instead the password of the cave was 123, and it had like actual security questions. Um, so yeah, that was a pretty good joke actually, I guess. Um, So yeah, they oh yeah, Pinky thought they were in Venice. That was a um so yeah, they are brought to the royal palace. And then yeah, basically all that happens is Brain tells them a bunch of story. Like I don't have to go over this one. It was pretty standard shit. They just have like parodies of a bunch of different stories, and that's basically it. You guys can go watch that one for yourselves. I thought it was pretty decent though. Like for sure that one was above average. In terms of quality. Plot. What was this? Manny. Oh god, this. Oh god, this one. Basically, there's this guy with the longest legs like ever, and they're at a movie theater, and this dude just comes and sits between them, and he manspread. It was just, oh my god, like this is what I'm talking about. There was too much wokeness. You know, they talk about mansplaining and manspreading, and it was this was just not a good episode. I just didn't like it, and basically because Manny, they end up missing most of the movie, the plot to distract the other moviegoers, while the sole purpose of making Manny move his legs closer. Yeah, they just want to make him stop manspreading, but it's just like, what the fuck? Why would they, like, this is, why do such a woke episode when you can literally do anything and you make an episode about manspreading? Like, come on. Like, what the fuck? This indefinitely works, and the Warners enjoy the rest of the movie. After the movie, as they board the bus, the man spreader guy approaches them and asks if the seat is taken, and then he man spreads and crushes them with his life. So this is one of those rare episodes where the villain actually wins. You know, you don't see it too much where the villain actually wins, but the villain actually does win here. Which was a great ending. I think the villain actually winning was great to see. A nice fresher pace. Okay, so now the final episode. So this is the one, easily one of the best ones, or the most memorable ones. The Hindenburg Cola. Okay, so finally we get the doctor, but they mentioned that the nurse isn't coming back. So basically, in the old show, there was this character named Heloise, or what was her name? Heloise Nurse, I think it was. And whenever the characters would see her, they'd be like, "Hello, nurse," and they'd have their tongues like, you know, like back in the old school cartoons when they would see a hot girl and their eyes would like pop out and their tongues would be like all like, like, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Hold on, let's actually type it up here. Let's go, hello, nurse. Yeah, here she is. So you see how they're all like, they're going googly eyed for her, and like they're, look at this here. This is a perfect example. They're all like dots, like I'm not having any of this shit. But Yakko and Wacko are like, oh, she's so hot. Okay, that's a picture and a half right there. Oh man. Okay, anyway, yeah, so there's a whole bunch of very interesting pictures here. Very, very interesting pictures. Anyways, so you guys get the gist. You get the gist. But yeah, so she's a very sexy nurse, and she, apparently she's too problematic to be shown in this show. Because that's how everything it works today. It's too problematic. We can't handle it. It's too problematic. It's too problematic to have a sexy nurse. Too problematic. Which just really just makes the show just that much worse. Just how can you not bring her back? Okay, so the Hindenburg Cola was the best. Okay, which one was better though? The chicken episode was good, and then the most Churian candidate. I think the Hindenburg Cola was probably the best episode or the best segment in the entire show. What happens here is that finally Dr. Scratch and Sniff, you guys know the doctor, the good doctor. Where's that doctor? You guys know who I'm talking about. It's the hold on, Dr. Scratch and this guy. This is the guy, right? You guys all know who that character is. He's from the old show. Basically, he's sick. He's all sickly. They also make a joke about like, they're like, we haven't seen you all season. Yeah, no shit. All the old characters, they're just missing. They're just gone. But then finally he appears. And Dr. Scraffage, he's sick. He's deathly sick. And he's like, the only way I can recover from this sickness is if you get me the Hindenburg Cola in Germany, or was it Germany? Yeah, German soda. That is rare. After traveling there, they run into Nils. So the guy, remember the guy from the Olympic? I was talking about him. He reappears. He actually reappears, which was really great. So it was great to see him again. I really enjoyed that. I did. So Nils is the MVP of the new reboot, but I still want the old characters back though. Like I want the old characters back. Also Julia the mouse. I wouldn't mind seeing Julia. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot. Okay, hold on. Pinky and the Brain, right? Pinky and Brain characters. Let's see. Hold on. I almost forgot to talk about this. Wells, the Brain, Jimmy. No, who are the what was that other mouse's name? This is Snowball. Snowball was nowhere to be seen in this show at all. What was that character's name? Maybe if I type in third mouse, let's type in third mouse. Larry? Is that who it was? Is it Larry? No, it's not Larry, is it? What was the other mouse's name? Hold on, let me find out here. Pinky and Brain, other mice. What the hell was that guy's name? Was it Larry? I don't think it was a. Okay, hold on. Reboot. It must have been Larry then. Larry. Was it Larry? It wasn't Larry. Who was that third mouse? Unless it was Larry, I don't know. Let me double check. I need to figure it out. Pinky and the Brain, Larry. Let's see what comes up here. Larry. Let's go to the Animaniacs here and go to actually, you know what? He was in that Venice episode. Where was that? Or not the Venice episode, the 1001 Narfs. Hold on. What was it? It was here. Yakko, Wacko, the Brain, Zitz, Sultan, Manny, Edwin. That was it. Edwin, Pinky and the Brain. There he is, Eggwind. Yeah, this character, Eggwind, and the Brain. So was Edwin was in the old one or no? I can't remember. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he wasn't. Let's actually click into him and see what we get here. Oh, we can't. We actually can't. Let's go duplicate tab and search him up. I kind of want. Was he in the old show? I think he was, right? Edwind. I don't know. I'm assuming he was in the old show. But yeah, Chris Cox. Maybe they spelled his name wrong. I don't know. Eggwind. A character who's okay, so maybe Larry was taken out and they replaced him with this character named Eggwind. He appears for like 2 seconds and then he's gone. And I was like, can we just see more of this character? Like, can we see more of this Eggwind character? So I thought he was in the original Pinky and the Brain, but maybe I was wrong. So that there was that Larry character in the old one. Larry, yeah. Larry. So I guess this new Eggwind character, he doesn't really appear too much, but I wanted to see more of Eggwind. He should be upped into a main cast member because I think all the Pinky and the Brain episodes would be that much better with that character in there. He was such a fun and lovable character for his like 3 lines of dialogue. I love that character. Eggwind. How do you say his name? Eggwind. That character, great character. Bring him back, Animaniacs. So did I finish? Oh no, I was. Oh my god, did I finish? So the Hindenburg cola, yeah. Basically, what it ends up happening that Nils appears. I said that already. He gets them the snow. He gets them the soda, and he reveals that he was not sick. The doctor wasn't sick. It was all a ruse to prank the Warners with a shaken can of soda. After he drinks the soda, he actually gets sick from drinking the soda, and his head turns into a blimp. The Hindenburg, of course, and crashes outside. Yeah, so the doctor in the old Animaniacs, they'd always be pranking him and all this kind of stuff. They were kind of like the like he was their foil. You know, they even mentioned that in the episode. They're kind of like these wacky characters that are, and he's like kind of like their villain, their foil. Um, and the doctor says that this time on the reboot, he wants because I don't think he ever gets a victory. You know, like in the old show, like I guess he always loses in the end. The man spreader, the man spreader gets a victory in the end of the episode. But will Doctor Scratch and Sniff get his victory in the next season? They seem to allude that he's going to be in the show more often. He says something about season 2 and like how he has plans of becoming a big, like I don't know. They mention a whole bunch of stuff about him, like you know, being better in this reboot, and he's going to be smarter and a brand new. He's going to be a brand new Scratch and Sniff. So, but you know, like I just want to see more of him. So that's great. If he comes back in the next season, that'd be great. Okay, rodent trip. So the big reveal here. This is the season. This is the season finale, right? They get stuck in a brain wants to make it so that they mass produce these cars that lock humans inside the cars, even though they could just smash the window. It's kind of weird. Basically, he wants to make these cars that like you can't get out of, but literally any human could just smash the window and get out. It's not even that big of a. Oh yeah, and they're self-driving cars, right? But like you could, if you're a human, you could literally just get your phone, take the edge of the corner, and ram it into the window and break the window. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't know, you could use your fist. But yeah, because they're mice, they get trapped in the car, and they're stuck in the car, and they're like dying, and you know, they don't know how long they're going to be stuck in there for. And Brain admits why he wants to take over the world, which is really interesting. Basically, he wants to take over the world because when he was a little kid, a little mouse, I guess, a kid mouse, the scientists electrocuted him and they made him get cheese. Like they were doing a test where it's like if they electrocute Brain every time he tries to eat the cheese, even though the cheese is in the room, will Brain just like not go for the cheese again? And the answer is yes. So they basically did like a social experiment on Brain as a mouse, right? They did an experiment where it's like it's kind of like one of those things where like if you put a piece of glass inside of a fish tank, and then one day you remove you remove the glass, some fish will always think that the fish tank is there, that the glass is always there, and they'll never try and go to the other side of the fish tank. So they did like a social experiment on Brain, and yeah, and then Pinky reveals he was also tested, but he was actually tested. They used Pinky to test if mice can detect different types of cheese. They wanted to know. So basically, Brain got electrocuted while Pinky literally got to eat cheese the whole time. And he even says it was a picnic, which pisses off Brain. So then they eventually stop the car and they fix their vacuum. The whole thing was that the vacuum, they have a self-cleaning, one of those drones or Roombas or whatever. They use the chip from that to program the self-driving car. You know, they use the self, you know, cleaning vacuum to put the chip into the self-driving car. The car goes around and then it finds the vacuum that originally the chip was from, and then that's it. that it was a pretty good episode. I like that. And then floated. Did I miss the episode? What happened to the episode with Tucker Carlson? There was an is this it? No, this is the okay. I must have skipped it. Maybe it was in episode 7. It must have been in episode 7, and I skipped over it. But they do a whole segment on Tucker Carlson, and they call him like Bucky Buxton or something like that. But it's very clearly Carl Tuckerson from Fox News. Um, and that was just stupid. Like again, they're so political this time. I don't know what's going on. This is not a kids show. This is a very political show. Um, and then here we go again. So Flotus, what do you know about us? So the Flotus is the first ladies of the United States. And so Dot decides to sing about the first ladies, but when the time runs out to sing the song, Dot has to sing faster and even forgets one of the first ladies. It just again, it's like what why do we needed a song about women voting. We needed a song about the first ladies of the United States. Like it just felt like political, and they really wanted to get a lot of the feminism shit in there with Dot. Dot was just unbearable. Like for me, I just could not stand Dot. This is the worst iteration of Dot I've seen. Just couldn't stand her. And yeah, I think that's it. So this was a pretty quick review, pretty quick fire review. You know, we just hit the 2 hour mark. I think this is a great place to end it. And I'm gonna give my final rating 6 out of 10. That's it, 6 out of 10. I think the show just had so much wrong. They don't know who their audience is. This is apparently a kids show that has so many political jokes. It makes Family Guy look like a kid's show, which is a mature show. You know what I mean? It's like there's so much of this political, there's so much of this wokeness. It wasn't bipartisan or partisan. They didn't take shots at both sides. It was like if they took a shot at the left, it was like one time, right? Like they made a joke, I think, at one point in the Most Churian Candidate about how the character, the what was her name, Julia, has a little bit too much Hillary Clinton in her when she says something like "We're going to Thanksgiving for my parents' house" or something like that, etc., etc. Yeah, so there's very few cracks at the left, but there's a bajillion cracks at the right, right? So they go all in on the Republicans, but they don't do anything to the Democrats or the conservative, or the, what do you call them, the liberals, Democrats. They barely make no jokes about liberals and Democrats, but all the jokes are about Donald Trump, conservatives, Tucker Carlson, etc., 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 etc. I must have skipped over it. It must have been an episode. So I don't know. I was kind of just trying to like go through them really quick, but then I didn't. And I don't know, guys. I gave it my all here. I gave it my all. I'm so sorry that this episode is this long. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here. But yeah, I ended up giving it a 6 because I just feel like they didn't know who their audience is. All the characters that they didn't come back except for Dr. Scratch and Sniff. Hello Nurse. Where was Hello Nurse? Where was Hello Nurse? Right. We don't. They. You know, it's like that feels like more of a Republican type of thing. Where it's like it's apparently too problematic to have a hot woman in a show. That's like, you know, there was no like racy, edgy jokes. Well, or maybe there was one or two or something, but I forgot about them. But most of the jokes were about Republicans. Um, Actually, there was a joke, I think, about like they're in the 1960s, or it was one of the episodes of Pinky and the Brain, and like a character says something like, they make a joke about women not being good in leadership positions or something like a woman will never be a presidential candidate or something. It was like one quick joke, but like that, you know, it's like it feels like they just weren't on point. A lot of the episodes, again, a lot of the old cast is replaced by nonsense. I did like Nils. I did not like the brown whatever executive woman. Dot was super woke in this one. Yakko and Wacko, or especially Wacko. Wacko felt like he was really pushed to the side for whatever reason. I guess people don't like I guess the writers didn't like Wacko for whatever reason in this show. And the Pinky and the Brain, I would have loved to seen Snowball, their nemesis. and I want to see more of that Eggwind character, and maybe even Larry. Why not Larry from the old show? Um, so yeah, that's about it. Um, 6 out of 10. They could do a lot better than this. They could do a lot better than this. Uh, and they are confirmed for a season 2. Um, so who knows? Maybe they'll up their game in season 2. I really hope they do. I really, really hope they do. And that's it from me. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Bless your actual soul if you sat here the whole 2 hours and watched this whole thing. This is a long video. This is my longest video I've ever done on this channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't do this too often. And my voice is just goddamn going. Let me drink some water. I don't do this too often, but I also have to do a quick fire review. See, this was like a long fire review, but I'm just gonna put quick fire. I'm just gonna put quick fire because it's funny, right? It's like it's 2 hours long. It's a quick review, everyone. But anyway, oh yeah, I also have while I'm here, I got a friend, or not a friend. Well, I know he's a fellow YouTuber. His name is K. What was his? Hold on, I forgot his name. K Dog. K Dog. His name is K Dog. He's a fellow YouTuber. I always see him on my channel. He's always up and about. And he's also a YouTuber, and he asked me for a shout out. So K Dog, I can't believe I forgot your name, but I did just finish 2 hours straight of Animaniacs reviewing. But there you go, K Dog. There's your shout out for you. Have some fun there. And so yeah, he does voice. He does like parodies of voices and that kind of thing. Anything else I'd like to say at this time? Again, just thank you for watching this whole thing. And Sandro out. Oh, and subscribe. I almost forgot. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe and thumbs up, like the video. Yeah, that's it. Bye-bye for real. For real this time. I'm out. No more. That's it. Bye-bye. See you later. Sandro out. Goodbye. Thanks for watching the review. The end.